All right, this is on. Let's turn on Teams. Hey, Amanda, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Oh, welcome everybody that's on the YouTube that's watching this. Today I am going to be hosting our monthly calls on AI. Uh, Usually we do this on Thursdays, every last Thursdays of the month, but today, conflict schedules, we're doing it on Thursday. So just give everybody a little bit more time to join, and then we'll start. See. Make sure the audio's captured this time. So I do that a million times last time, so let's make sure that works today. And then all right, so I guess I'll get started just so that way we can have a recording. Uh, Depending on how many people join, this might be a short session. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
I think you're already sharing it because I could see.
Yeah, yeah, I wonder if I can make it myself a little bit bigger. Switch camera. Nah. Hold on a second, man. I'm checking to make sure the YouTube's actually capturing audio this time. Test. Yep, the audio's being captured. Okay. All right, great. I think the audio's being captured. Let me go to check on this one thing.
Mhm.
All right. Now this is another test to make sure the audio is being captured. All right. Now this is another. Yep, the audio is being captured. All right, cool. So let me begin. So this is our monthly AI calls, Level Up AI edition, where we pretty much talk about a little bit about what's going on in the AI space. What are we doing with AI? So initially, I had came up with this 12-week plan, and let me share my screen because I'm not sharing that part. Originally, I had came up with this plan, this 12-week plan. It's really based off the 12-week year. So essentially, I wanted us to focus on AI fundamentals and terminologies, us actually building AI applications, and then start using it day to day. So like March 9th to March 29th, like up to this point, using it day to day. And then the following time, the last time we're going to meet, before we start a new plan, was to review our progress. Like, what have we learned? Where are we going with this? So forth and so on, right? So, some of the terminologies we talked about earlier was about tokens. Then we started talking about a little bit about context windows and memory and reasoning. So I ended up building this PDF with using Claude that gives a lot of the terminology cheat sheets. I think this is really important for all of us to know, especially when we're dealing with this within work, within school. This helps us learn all the different terminologies and jargon, so that way we could be able to talk about AI in a more efficient manner, right? So we talk about large language models, what they are, context windows. Again, this is how the LLMs are having memory to be able to understand conversations, whether short term or long term. I think we all understand prompts. Prompts is what we're entering within the LLM, but we use ChatGPT. These are pretty much your questions. These are the queries. Hallucinations. So we know LLMs are pretty much a big algorithm, and what it does is helps generate text based off its next prediction. And so oftentimes it does what we call hallucination, where it kind of feels like it's making the stuff up, which it pretty much is. So this is a real thing, and this is why they use different things like RAG to help ground it. Ground it means, like, when you think about yourself, someone tells you go touch grass. That's what pretty much what grounding is for LLMs. It helps it so it has a better understanding and real answers to provide within the questions. Agents, this is where now AI is not only able to provide you information, but actually take actions on it. We have fine tuning. This is like making um, um, AI be more fine tuned based off a particular subject. Sorry, a little bit thirsty. And then we have inference as well. This is what happens during the time where you set a question, and then the AI is able to provide the response. Multi-models, when you're able to use multiple different type of large language models, from one that generates text to one that creates images. And then we have weights. Weights is everything that the model has learned. So the larger the weights, the larger the parameters, the more the model knows. So that's that right there. So I wanted to do a quick about some stuff that's happening with the news. We talked a lot about Anthropic and them pushing back to the current administration about um what's happening, not using their AI for war, or pretty much they're okay with using AI for war, but they just didn't want their AI to be autonomously able to essentially kill people. And the current administration pushed back on that, and so Anthropic said, "That's okay. We're gonna stop talking about it." So they won the injunction against the Pentagon, because what ended up happening was the Pentagon decided that they're going to tell they're gonna stop using Anthropic models, and Anthropic sued, so that wasn't legal. So they won that, which is good for the overall. Even though OpenAI had signed over a deal with the Department of War to use their models, at least we have a company that's pushing back and saying, "Hey, that's not right. We shouldn't use AI to autonomously, be able to effectively do kill orders." So and mass surveillance as well. So that's a big thing when you look at even what's the company? It's a major company that does it right now, but look it up. Major company for surveillance.
Palantir?
Palantir. Thank you, Amanda. Palantir. So Palantir's whole model is about surveillance. So they're really knitted with the U.S. government. So it's good to see that another company is actually pushing back. So these are quite a few of the top news that's going on with AI today. So I had this created with Claude again. And then let me go ahead and share it with everybody so everybody has it for those who will have access to the chat. And for those on YouTube, I'll make sure to also upload this to maybe somehow, some way through YouTube as well. Let's send this. And then let me always send you the terminology cheat sheet. There we go. And so yeah, so those are a couple of things that's happening right now. I mean, honestly, um, you know, the major elephant in the room when we think about AI is how this is going to disrupt our daily lives. And one of the major ones that I've been really hyper focused on was about the AI job distribution, disruption. Essentially, yeah, a lot of these companies are looking to see how they can replace humans with agents. Agents are, AI actually be able to take action based off the information that um, these corporations are giving it and the software that's giving it. So now they're looking to see, okay, we have these agents. These agents can do things on their own. How can we replace humans? So you'll see this a lot with call centers. I think they're going to be probably one of the biggest ones impacting the future. They're going to be using software like 11 Labs, uh, 11 Labs that do AI audio, voice agents. So essentially, you can have an agent that will have full conversation. So this AI right here,
Years old. Son, always speak the truth.
this is just
People will
showing
never
how this
forget
agent
what
can be able
you
to
say.
talk, and they
You
have
must not
different
fear.
voices.
Fear is the mind killer.
They have different voices, and you can create different prompts and text to speech and music, all through 11 Labs. So this is going to really impact what we think is going to happen in the future. Like, so a lot of call centers, a lot of, even when you think about some secretaries at some offices and receptionists at some offices, they're going to be impacting this because people could just hire these AI voice agents to then pick up these calls, and they work 24/7. So there's no need for them to go on lunch. There's no need for paid benefits. That's definitely going to disrupt a lot of people's jobs as well. And there was an article that came out with TechCrunch as well, talking about how the AI skills gap is getting larger. This is just true. I mean, some of the conversations I had last year focused mostly on some of the stuff that was like, it was very new, but it was also, I feel like you was able to consume it, and then out of nowhere, just more and more information, more and more different skills, different tools. Excuse me, but different tools that you can use with AI. I mean, at first, I think everyone just introduction to AI was been mostly text based. Use OpenAI, use Google's Gemini, but then it became image generation, video generation, and now the next wave is going to be these agents. So the gap, it just keeps getting wider and wider and wider. So this is the reason why I actually have proposed this call. Because yeah, if we don't grab onto these AI skills, we're gonna become And I think it's very similar to what we used to see when people was in the office and they didn't know how to type and didn't know how to like use the internet and use as a browser. That's very much what we're gonna become. We're gonna become the boomers. We're gonna become the ones who don't know how to use AI. And we're gonna get overlapped by our peers. Not because we're unable to, it's because we didn't get ahead of the grasp these concepts um, um, before it passed us. So this article is just going into more detail about what Anthropic think is going to happen with economics, with how this is going to damage and how this is going to wipe out a lot of the entry level white collar jobs. So even jobs that before was considered guarded and considered like, hey, this is the best thing you can possibly do. Go into tech, you'll be safe and you'll have a steady job. Now those jobs are not really that steady. I mean, we see there's almost 70 or biannually layoffs that happens across all these major organizations, from Microsoft to Salesforce to even Oracle, and even the stock market. When we look at the stock market, they used to call them the Magnificent Seven. Those stocks have been taking a hit. I think Oracle's down like 54%. I think Microsoft's down 33%. It's a lot of them that's taking a hit for sure. So definitely keep your eyes open. Definitely pay attention to see what's happening at your job. Sometimes when they're easing some of these AI capabilities in, it all starts off with like, hey, we're trying to help you do your job better. But then oftentimes you're training your replacement. So it's definitely it's good to have a better understanding of how are you training this replacement. How can you prevent that? How can you also put yourself in a position where you become irreplaceable, where an agent cannot do your job? And then one of the things that was really, really big within this month was NVIDIA had their go-to-market con that happens usually, I believe, in San Diego or San Jose. And they talked about OpenClaw. So we talked about OpenClaw sometime last month. And OpenClaw is a open source platform where now you can build out these AI agents for free locally on your machine. And this changed the game, right? Because before um, it used to just be, these agents were only based off corporations and so forth and so on. But now this is available for everybody. Anyone can create an agent today. So he just brought this up, which is mind-boggling for a lot of people because this is an open source project. It's free. It's free to use. It's probably one of the number one open repository right now at the moment on GitHub. And one of the largest companies on earth is now talking about OpenClaw as well. And so they recently talked about how they're using OpenClaw, but they're doing a derivative of OpenClaw called NemoClaw. Essentially what this is they're using OpenClaw's repo, but they're making it more secure. So OpenClaw right now, you can just turn it on and OpenClaw will have access to all your files. OpenClaw will have access to everything on your network. And NemoClaw is a way to have a more tight-knit network, have more containerized version of OpenClaw. So if you looked at some here when they ran the code, you can see that they're running OpenClaw within a Docker. Docker is a way to how can I explain this? So back in the day, like when you had to, let's say gaming, for example. So if I had a PC, which I have a PC now, and I wanted to run Super Nintendo, I would have to emulate a whole Super Nintendo system. So I had to virtually act like my PC is a whole Super Nintendo. And they use that same concept with large software companies as well. So they used to have to, if they had a server, they'll have a big PC server, and that server would emulate like there's 25 different computers on that one server. What Docker did is now Docker, instead of having to run multiple Windows operating systems, now you could just containerize that one application of Microsoft Word, and you have all the configurations, all the files needed to run it, and you Dockerize it, you put it in a container, and then you could deploy it everywhere. That helps save space and time, and then also security. So that's what they're doing now. Like, so they do it with AI now. They're Dockerizing OpenClaw. So now OpenClaw only has access to different networks and ports. And it's more containerized. The only issue I see with this compared to OpenClaw is now it's so much work you have to do to make OpenClaw relevant to you. So before you had OpenClaw and you were able to run it, and you give it skills, and it's ready to go. But now if you do it through NemoClaw, you have to have a great understanding of what ports you're supposed to be able to open, what APIs has access to, and if that's for you, then that's the option you need to have. But then you also be stuck in the NVIDIA ecosystem as well. So it has its pros and its cons. But I definitely think this is something that we all should be mindful of. I think we all should pay attention to see how can we use these agents, whether we use it through fully code-based agents, or we use OpenClaw or NemoClaw, or even Claude's Cowork. I think we all should figure out how it works best for us. And so for me, I've been really focused on using agents locally. So I've been using OpenClaw, but I've been using only LLM models that are saved on my machine. The reason for this is cost, and it's also about security and privacy. I don't want to be dependent on any of these providers. So if I use OpenClaw now and have an agent, if I'm using Claude's LLMs, one, they have the ability to charge me more if they feel like it at any given moment. Two, if they decide to go down, now my agent doesn't work. So that's not for me. But other people might feel like that's fits for them and fits for their use case. So you got to really choose what works best for you. But I'm gonna share this as well in the Teams chat, just so that way everyone has it. And where's that bit at? OpenClaw agents. So this is my setup that I've been using. So I deployed across, I think those 3 or 4 agents. So all this looks complicated. This is all through a terminal, and if you've never seen a terminal before, it looks something like this. It's not sexy at all, but it gets the job done. It's probably one of the most powerful thing on your computer that most people don't use, but it's terminal. So pretty much you type in these commands, and that's where you're able to run models locally using Ollama. Hit cancel, and don't know why it's doing that. We'll just hit refresh. Don't save. Yeah, and so you can be able to run local models on your machine using Ollama. And if you haven't seen Ollama before, this is the website for Ollama. You just download the application. They have 2 different versions. You can either run it through a terminal, or you can run the actual application itself. So it'll look like, I think I have it on this machine. It'll look like a traditional ChatGPT. So right now, these are the models that I have downloaded. So I can just ask it a question like, teach me Python. Oh, I think this is not sharing my screen. Hold on a second. Let's go back to, see. Oh, it's just sharing on Teams, but it's not sharing on this. Let's do this real quick. And then go right here. So yeah, if I say teach me Python on Ollama, I already have a model downloaded. And now the model is going to work directly on my machine. So if I lose internet today, if I cut off the internet right now, this will still work. So this changes the game on how we think about, those limits that you have when you use ChatGPT or Claude. It's like if you want to use those softwares and solutions, you have to pay for a certain amount of queries, certain amount of questions that you set in. But I could just do all this directly on my machine, and this will work forever because it's stored within my computer. The only challenge with these is that once you download them, but it's not updated. So if you ask who the president is, it's not going to give you a relevant response depending on when you downloaded this. Like I say, who's the president, and it might say Biden or it might say Trump. It really depends on when this model was fine tuned. So yeah, so this model was fine tuned all the way in April 2024. So it's going to say Joe Biden was the president. That stuff you have to keep in mind when you think about using local models. If you're trying to use real time information, local models probably is not going to be it. But that's when that's when you probably get into what we talk about, something called MCP servers, MCP protocols. But that's way too complicated to talk about right now. But that's something where you can have your local model be able to connect to APIs and be able to connect to the internet. I'm sorry, man. I was looking at Teams. I think you have a question.
Yeah, I do. My question is kind of like when you're talking about how if it's not updated, it will not provide relevant information. When you update it, are there like things that you have to also update within, like, say, your code? So, like, kind of like I guess you could think of like a work upgrade or an update of some sort. I know typically with updates, elements of what was previously there is sometimes overridden or changed completely. So does that affect like your agent? Will you then have to go in and update like your agent and what they're doing, what they're running, or does that typically stay the same?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, and so let me clarify a couple of things too. When I say run local models, within um within Olama, you're not. That's where you want to talk about MCPs and you'll be able to connect to the internet. And that's where you don't have to worry about. And it doesn't fine tune the model. So after you download the model, you always need to connect to MCP server to get real time information. You'll always need to do that. And that's just simply because the local model, whatever's stored on it is stored on it forever. So you can't like really fine tune it unless you know how to fine tune it yourself. But if you use something like OpenClaw, like what we mentioned, like what NVIDIA is doing here at OpenClaw, OpenClaw has a setting where you're able to then connect to the internet. So it automatically has skills that you can connect. So you connect to the internet. So those local models, it doesn't matter if they're current or not, because the local models will be able to then connect to the internet and give you that information. If that made any sense to you, Amanda. I might have lost you.
Sorry, I was on. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, that's a concern when you think about yeah, if you want to be able to use a local model for just like using that just using for like Olama, like through a Olama or LM Studio, stuff like that. That's something if you want real time information, then that's when you're gonna see like, well, I kind of want to use ChatGPT or Claude. But if you get a little bit more understanding, you can use MCP servers. But if you're using the build agents, you can use local models all day. It's just not gonna be as fast because the models are being used for Claude and OpenAI, as you can imagine, they run on these big servers. They has a lot of resources, so they're able to run a lot quicker. And when I mean a lot quicker, I mean like in terms of they might provide you a response in 30 seconds, and then your local model might be, depending on the model you download, might be able to provide your response within 1 or 2 minutes. And so when you think about, hey, I want my agent to, and this is a project I'm working on now, have my agent build me a dashboard, show me everything, show me everything in terms of my finances and how I spend. So that agent that I have run is going to be running for 30 to 40 minutes because it's going to be building the dashboard using code. Then it's going to somehow as well I have to give it the information, whether it's through APIs or through Excel sheets of all my expenses. And I don't know if you guys ever seen something like this app back in the day called Mint, where before you get able to just connect your banking information and you had all this information, it gives you like a graph and a bar chart of what your spending habits was. They took that away and they added it within I believe the company is called Credit Karma, internet company. So now they're like stealing all your information. So instead of doing that, I'm just gonna create a local agent to then pull in all that information and create the same information I was getting from Mint. So yeah, you can do all those stuff directly with using OpenClaw. So I sent the link for that one right here. This is the file. It goes over the steps on how to set it up. Again, it looks more complicated than what it really is, but it's really not. But we always spend one day working on building an actual agent. I think that's actually probably a good idea too as well. So we can set one day on how to build an agent with OpenClaw, and then we can set one day on how to build an agent using Claude's Cowork, which is now like it's on steroids now. It's you can do damn near everything on Claude Cowork, but I think Claude Cowork is $20 a month now. So, has anyone used it? Anyone on call has used it, or has anyone tried any of these things when it comes to like OpenClaw, Claude Cowork? Has anyone tried any of these things? I take the quiet as a no. So, but yeah, I like I said, I think we all should start getting comfortable using these things from Cloud Cowork. This is probably the easiest way to get into using agents and building agents. You'll see once you start using Cloud Cowork, you'll see that it has very similar um skills and folders, and like it's very built very similarly towards like OpenClaw. The only difference is you have the trust that it's more secure because you're not managing it. Anthropic's managing it, so you could deploy it and use it today. So, um, definitely, if you get a chance, co-work, like I said, we can have a whole call on us building an actual agent and setting it up from scratch. That's no big deal as well. And when you use OpenClaw, you can then send messages to it directly from iMessage. Like currently, right now, I'm using this directly through Discord. And let me see. So right now, I don't know if you can tell, this probably be better if I just send screenshots. But I have this on Discord, and I can just now set it messages no matter where I'm at. So if I decide to go to the grocery store and I'm like, hey, I want my agent to then, run me a report of all my emails for the day, I can have that done by just texting it through Discord. So you can have it set up through Discord, you can have it set up through WhatsApp, you can have it set up through iMessage. You can have the set up to whatever which way you want to have it, and it's able to then send that information directly to your phone. So you don't even need to stay home to use your agent, which is actually pretty cool. Let me see what's all the list of the stuff that you can use it with. So yeah, all these different integrations you use it. You can set it up if you wanted to send an email to it, which would probably be a little bit later, longer responses. But you can send an email to it. You can use it directly through your browser, even Twitter, even Spotify, which is even crazy. And then Slack, Signal, iMessage, Telegram. I see a lot of people use Telegram to do this, but you can set it up as using Telegram as well. Um, and I'm just gonna show a couple things I think is gonna be pretty cool. They have this open source project called Transcribe. So essentially what that is you can use this on your machine or your phone, and you can have it transcribe your voice. So think about when we have meetings and we have meetings at home and we use Google Copilot, not Google, Microsoft Copilot. Some of us have Microsoft Copilot with our companies, the jobs we work with, but some of us don't. So oftentimes we have to either use the voice memo app on our phones, or even like sometimes if we're listening to a podcast and we're like, man, I really wanted to, write down notes on this. You can use Transcribe and it's free. So you use Transcribe and you can cover all these different languages. So I'm gonna see if I can use this Transcribe to also help build a model to help my kids be able to speak Creole better. Right now they don't support Haitian Creole right now at the moment, but I'm gonna work on building it out myself. And then I guess the last thing I want to talk about is we saw how, OpenAI closed down Sora, video, AI video. I think the reason why they're doing this is simply because they're moving more towards government contracts. They're moving more towards, agents, and they're not worried about the social media aspect of it. Before they talked about how always being free and, nonprofit, but now they're focusing on profit. So you'll see them do these things where they're gonna close down. And this is what I'm talking about too as well. Like if you could build your agent to use Sora, now you won't even be able to use Sora anymore. So this is the reason why I really push on a lot of people on using AI locally on their machines. Don't get me wrong, I use Claude all the time, but my main agents, I'm not going to have them 100% deployed and depending on cloud-based AI LLMs. Because at any given moment, they can decide, hey, I'm going to close the business. And then what are you going to do? So there's so many people who use Sora now for their business to generate video, to generate the social media content, and now all that's going away. So it's definitely something to think about. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today. I know I had changed the call to Sunday, so I know just pretty much a lot of people probably wouldn't be able to join. But I just want to give some time in case anybody had any questions, anybody had any topics they want to talk about. Um, and then yeah, does anyone have any topics they want to talk about? Any questions they have? Anything they're doing now within AI that they want to share?
Good evening, guys. So I had a question. Well, I'll say, well, let me make a statement. Statement first is, man, between work and them track meets, man, I fell off the cliff
Yeah, I don't
with
blame
AI.
you. Yeah, that's a lot of
Yeah,
people.
but I was, yeah. So I was trying to, because I heard about the Nemo Cloud and it's safer. I guess I'm glad I couldn't figure it out because I was trying to figure. I went to the, I Googled the dashboard, and boom, I found the dashboard. So now I'm like, I couldn't figure out what to put or how to copy and paste it to get it on the damn screen. But nevertheless, I ain't going nowhere with the Nemo Cloud. Um, so as far as installing the open cloud, I mean, has it gotten safer? Because I mean, a month ago, people was like, "Nah, just wait. If you're a newbie at this, just wait because of the security concerns." What do you think?
Um, I think with all of it, you got to be safe, right? I mean, it just really depends on how you're doing it and how you're deploying it. Like, so for example, for myself, I bought a MacBook Mini. I bought a Mac Mini simply because I wanted to work on agents. And OpenCloud made it easier, but I was going to build agents anyways, right? So I built my agents on Mac Mini, and I don't share none of my crucial information with it in terms of, for example, like I don't use my personal email address. I don't use like even the example I used about making a finance dashboard. I export all my information off Chase and my information off like Robinhood and stuff like that. I then go into the Excel file and delete all the numbers, like any account numbers, any routing numbers. I delete all that information. So whenever I give it to the agent, all the agent has is transactions. It doesn't have my name. It doesn't have anything like that. So I think it can be as secure as you make it. Now there's another thing too where you can, like, for example, like when you're building an agent, you want to give it skills. Skills is like different actions it can do. Like you can have it, pull weather information. You can have it be able to update your folders or whatever the case might be. And then there's other people outside who build these skills for you. So these people who are building these skills, they then deployed on OpenClaw's, website, and they say, "Hey, this is a skill that I built. You can use it as well." So that's where the security issue is an issue because there's people who are building skills that are mass that has, they have like malicious code in it. So now you download the skill for like to grab the weather, and now they're stealing all your keystrokes within your machine. So, um, yeah, you got to be really careful when you're downloading skills. But the safety part, I think you'd be fine if you just, containerize it. Make sure you don't provide too much information. And also, I will always suggest using a separate machine from your main machine that you're using today. If that makes sense to you, bro.
Yes, sir, it does. It does.
And also, NemoClaw is not available, I don't think, as of today yet. I think it's still in beta, or I gotta check that out. But I don't know if you can deploy it today. Did it say you could deploy it today, Brian?
I could have sworn, yeah, the I could have sworn that's what he said because he was like when he did that I forgot what it's called that thing he did and he was like available today and everybody started rushing out to go use it.
Oh, yeah, it does look like it's available today. I haven't looked at this too much. But yeah, it looks like it's available today. So, um, yeah, I can go over this too as well and see how the install is, and then share it with you, Brad, as well.
Okay.
This is the GitHub. This is where all the information on NemoClaw is available as well.
Okay.
Uh,
So you said
go ahead.
so one last question. So you said you want to go over like an install, like a fresh install of OpenClaw, or was it Cloud Codework, or which one
It could be whatever. I mean, essentially, like my goal was to essentially, make sure we have the understanding of the terminology, stuff like that, so we know the jargon. And then I wanted us to get into, building AI applications. And when I say build AI applications, I'm not saying we have to build, Fortune 500 company. I'm just saying like little stuff like, building agents or, deploying a local model on our PC, stuff like that. And then so, the next time we have this call, I do want us to even, work on, step by step on how to build an actual agent. We can use OpenClaw, we use Claude Codework. There's so many different, frameworks to do it. Um, but also it's really, like based on the group, right? So if we have a lot of people who's interested in actually doing it, and want to join and do it, then we just go based off whatever is everybody's preference. So that's my view on that, bro.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, so does anyone else have any questions? Anything else anyone else is using in terms of AI today, or anything anybody else wants to share?
Well, hello everyone.
Hey, Justin.
I'm gonna I missed the last meeting, and let me tell you, I feel like I'm so behind. So no, I don't have any updates on my end. But I do plan on looking at the resources that you sent so I can kind of get myself up to speed.
Yeah, and that's fine, right? I mean, I feel like
Can't sleep on this stuff, man, because it's just ever changing, and I'm like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, like it's like missing one class, one economic class or something. It's like everything is in shadow. So no, but I'm excited, and I do want to learn how to make agent or build an agent. So interested in that as well.
Yeah, I got to do a better job. And this time, knock on wood, I did a better job recording the videos, putting it on YouTube with audio this time. The past two, I've been missing audio. So, but yeah, I think it's so hard for all of us because we all have families, we all have our own things going on. Even myself, like just even doing these calls monthly, I'm like, man, I still want to do this just because, time constraints. So, but yeah, definitely don't feel bad about, feeling behind. I feel like we're all like that. So, that's the reason why I want to, have the chat. I want to have like all these different places where we can all talk and communicate. Cause to your point, Jess, yeah, we definitely have to stay on top of this cause it's happening. Like no matter we like it or not, it's happening and it's happening fast. So yeah, it's definitely on us to make sure that we're on point. Hey, what's up? What's up, Amanda? Hey, babe.
Okay. So I have a question for the group. I don't know. So I've been seeing a lot of the courses that have been offered through like Anthropic, through just the different tech companies that are kind of free. They're like different like AI type of certificates. Some of them are beginner, some of them are intermediate. Has anybody ever like signed up to like take one? Because I've been thinking about a few, but I'm like, am I wasting my time? Like, has anybody seen them and like tried it out?
I have not. And the only resources that I've looked into were just LinkedIn courses, but not, I don't think that I haven't taken one, and I don't know how helpful those would be. But I did not know that other places are offering courses.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's a
I can drop the link so that people can kind of, I guess, see.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, I thought it was kind of weird. Then I was like, well, if these companies are the ones that are building it and they're putting like, this stuff out there, I'm like, wouldn't it be good to kind of learn from them? But I don't know anybody that's done it either. So I was like, maybe I just got to do it. But I'll definitely put the link, I guess, in this chat.
Yeah, please do, Amanda. I this is funny that you brought that up, because someone just sent me a link on all these different MIT courses on AI as well, and I put it within the chat. Um, so this is a good resource too as well. But some of these are really technical. Like sometimes they have some of like machine learning. Some of them's like, I think number two is pretty good, how AI thinks and learns. And then Anthropic has an academy too as well. And that one is free up to my knowledge. It's 100% free as well. You can see all the different courses. And all this is free. But this is all geared towards Anthropic's tools. But I still feel like you learn a lot about it, like the AI fluency framework and foundations, building with Claude API, MCP, the Model Context Protocol. This is how you give different tools to the LLMs. This is actually going to be a pretty good resource too. So thank you for bringing that up, Amanda.
Yeah, of course.
And I put that in the chat. Oh, Amanda already beat me to it. Yeah,
I think we put the same link.
appreciate it.
No problem.
But yeah,
Harvard has some, so does I think it's Coursera. I'll find those links, but yeah, there's quite a few out there.
but yeah. So I mean, that's it from my end, guys. I didn't really have that much to bring up. I know everybody's really busy. But yeah, I wanted these calls to be as collaborative as possible. So and only as long as you guys wanted to as well. I don't want it to make it like a lecture. It's like, hey, well, this is my TED talk. But I just want to share what I know, and then you guys share what you guys are using and doing as well on your end. So if there's nothing else, I guess we can call it a night. But if anybody else has anything to say, yeah, go ahead and say it. But if not, then we'll call it a night for today.
One
Hey,
last
I
question.
think one thing.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was gonna ask. Are you guys okay with dropping the links in the text message group? Because, like, so
Yeah.
for instance, the open class setup, I'm trying to download it and it's not opening up for some reason. But because once you close the Teams, the links disappear, right?
No, it shouldn't. But that's no big deal. I can put it within the chat as well.
Okay, please. Yeah. Okay. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no worry, Brad. I got you. Yeah, go ahead, Dos.
Hey, I was thinking one thing that I'll be interested in doing is like picking everybody's brain on some of the ways they can see AI impacting their job. Because like the way that I think about it is not even as much. I think it's important to figure out how to use the tools and things of that nature, right? To like better your day to day. But like honestly, I want to use it as an opportunity to maybe even like create some type of business and work, and which is some of what we kind of talk about.
Yeah.
And that's what I'll be more interested in, right? Like maybe even figuring out if we collectively think about our day to days and areas where an application can automate it, like then how we can bring that to the market, right? Because we're like, all right, well, it's going to AI anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe we can be a niche provider of the service that's not really out there right now where we know there's a need, right? And the way that I see AI kind of going is, healthcare is one of the big areas they targeting. Finance is a big area that they're targeting. Engineering is another big area. Law is another big area, right? So, but we have like, Amanda's in healthcare right now, right? Like there's a lot of people that are in some of these fields that are in this call where we can think about ways that we can kind of, like I said, create something that would be beneficial for all of us if we bring our collective thoughts together, right? You remember I was talking to you, Juice, about like a financial application that makes it easy for people to like invest in
Yep.
kids like invest for kids essentially, or like purchase stocks on the behalf of kids. But like, I don't know if that's really even feasible, but now that we have these tools, it can make it easier to go to market with something like that. But anyway, I feel like that would be a great way for us to maybe spend some time in the future if people are interested in thinking through like, yo, this is a way AI can automate something, and maybe there's an idea out there to bring it to the market.
No, that's a great point, Dos. I mean, and I think sometimes too, I think the biggest challenge that we face as a people, we always think that these major corporations, these guys were like complete geniuses, that they had everything figured out. And then you get in a room with them, it's like, man, these guys they're not that different. They're not different than us, they're not better than us. And the only difference between them and us is sometimes just taking action, right? Like, hey, we have a plan, we have an idea, and then executing. So yeah, I agree 100%. That's where my mindset is at when I think about AI, is like, how can we build a product that we can go to market with, that we can make, that we can do well with as well. Because you see some of these investments, like they'd be like 40 billion dollars in funding, $40 million in funding, and like they don't even have a viable product yet. It's just all theory. So I think definitely all of us and all of us putting our brains together, we can definitely figure out a product that we can go to market. Hey, man, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, I was gonna also say to piggyback off of Dove and kind of what he was talking about. I think also too, we also have, if for us who have kids or like just children that we are part of their village, I think it's also important to think of them and also like think of ways to like really teach them this stuff. Because if we're doing this and we're thinking about this and how it's impacting us in our world, but we keep it to ourselves, it's not going to do any good for them in the future if they don't know like the basics of what AI is, how it works, or just like the simple knowledge that we have. I think there was a quote when we had our first kid that I always heard is like, try to teach your kids or the kids that are around you that you're responsible for all the things that you learned in life as early as possible so that
Yeah.
it doesn't become like something extra that they have to get over a learning curve or try to learn something, in college and they're like fast tracking through everything. So I think it's important too to also keep the babies in mind.
No, no, agreed. Yeah, it's crazy because and that's the crazy thing. I feel like a lot of people, I feel like will fall behind when we talk about this AI skills gap. Is that yeah, if there's something my kid wants to learn now, I'm able to like now, go to Claude or OpenAI or my local model. I'm like, hey, teach me so I can be able to teach her or teach him, and and that's going to be the future. I mean, there's so many parents who don't use these tools, and there's so much just people in general. Like you might even have your spouse that wants to understand something a little bit better. And before you have to like comb through multiple different, websites, different pages. But now you can have this directly at your fingertips, and it also can break it down in the ways that you understand. Like every time I'm on the LLM, I'm like, hey, teach this to me like I'm a window tinner. I'm a window tinner. Break it down in window tinner terms, and it breaks it down exactly the way I wanted to. And that's something we never, at least for myself, I never had it as well. Like I'm a proud YouTube University alumni, and that was my go-to is YouTube University. And now we have like these things where I can just open my phone and ask a question directly. Like, hey, I am trying to learn. Like, right now I'm learning how to fix electronics. And my main thing now is like, all right, how can I learn this down? How can I break this down? I bought books, I'm soldering, but I go on Claude, I'm like, hey, build me a diagram and break it down in terms where I can understand how this electronics components work. Because we talk about how this, and those hinted to as well, about how AI is going to disrupt a lot of jobs, especially white collar jobs. We need to learn some of these hard, these blue collar jobs too as well. We have to have a backup because we can't be dependent on like the government. We can't be depending on these corporations to then save us. So we have to have these other additional skills on top of the other skills that we learn, with this AI. Crazy to say, like this AI revolution. But with that, I'm going to wrap up because I am tired. I'm exhausted. I've been traveling a lot, and I'm exhausted. But thank you guys for joining on a Sunday. I know our times is always usually supposed to be like for Thursday, so I appreciate you guys joining. But again, yeah, this group is what we make it. So the more we collaborate, the more we talk with each other, the more we share information. That's how this group's going to be able to grow and become stronger. So appreciate everyone for joining. I'm 100% sure this audio is being recorded this time on YouTube. So I'll share the YouTube link on the chat as well as all the documentations that I created as well, Brad, just so you have it too as well. I put that on the chat, and I'll also put this on the Discord. And then the next time we have this call, which is going to be the last Thursday of April or the third, I think it's the third or last. Next time we have this call, I am going to set this up so that way we're building agents. So our cells are learning how to build agents. So that way, if we do have an idea that we want to create, we can create it amongst each other. So think about the different agents that you're trying to build. And I'll send in also like stuff that we have to set up before the call, just so that we're ready and that we all can participate and build the agents together. So these calls usually are set for 2 hours. So we'll have enough time to go over how to build agent, how to set up agent, how to maintain the agent, and more importantly, how to secure the agent so that way people are not stealing our information as well. So, but yeah, if you guys have anything in between that time from this time for the next meeting, yeah, please feel free to reach out. And I think I put my email and number up here too as well. So this is my email and number. Not sure if I should do it on YouTube, but they'll be all right. Bye guys. Y'all have a good night. We'll talk soon.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Good. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, Brad. See you, man. And you guys have a good night too as well on YouTube.